Well, good morning. How many of you, I want to ask you this very simple question, would like to be in an unhealthy, dysfunctional, abusive relationship for your entire life? Raise your hands. Nobody? Of course not. We're going to talk about healthy relationships today. My name is John Irwin. You say, what qualifies me to talk to you about being in a healthy relationship? I want to submit 3 facts today. Number 1, my wife, Cheryl, who we have been married for 34 years, is qualification number 1. Qualification number 2, ladies, I met her when she was 14. Guys, I was 16. You're already putting the math together. You're going, junior, freshman? Yes. Are you all sophomores? All right, so imagine last year, ladies, that you met your future husband. You're looking at me like, you got to be kidding. Here at this school, and guys are going, no way. You know, I'm not getting married till I'm 30, 32, whatever. And so today we're going to talk about healthy relationships, and I think everybody wants to be in a healthy relationship. Now, some would call this talk the love, sex, dating talk. Not in that order, by the way. How would we want that order to go? It would be love, dating, engagement, marriage, then sex. But we always get that one a little mixed up. And so, this is my family right here. That's my daughter on her wedding day 6 years ago. And that's my son Ryan, my son-in-law, and my son John Daniel. Pretty happy day, but you know what the next best day is for parents? Is when your kids choose to have children. And then, yea, thus verily. Don't walk in front of that camera. Thanks, that's on the film now. You're famous. Is when your kids have, yeah, you can sit in the back there, in the back left. When your kids have grandkids. So 2 weeks from today, Lord willing, I will be a grandfather. You're going, dang, you are a dinosaur, dude. I know, I've earned this gray hair. So today, we're going to have a little fun, all right? I hope you like to engage in discussion. We want to get this handout out, and we will talk about that. Now, one of the things that if you don't want to be an unhealthy, dysfunctional relationship, you got to understand there are 4 danger signs of those kinds of unhealthy relationships. So let's look at them together. Here's the first one. Danger sign number 1, if you're taking notes, is making sure you understand the difference between romantic infatuation and true love. Romantic infatuation and true love. Now, on your notes, we have a list of characteristics of somebody who's infatuated and someone who's really in love. I want to ask you a question. How many of you think you have ever actually been in love? You think, yeah, I think I've been in love. I know you're only 15. How many are 15? How many are 16? How many are 17? How many are 14? So we got some non-sophomores in here, right? We have some juniors, or you're all sophomores? All right. So it's always the guys who are a little older in this stage in life because your dad was saying, I'm not putting him in kindergarten until he's 9 because I want him to be a stud to play football, right? And so they don't put you in. Then the moms are like, no, put him in kindergarten now, and you're like 3 1/2. So infatuation versus true love. So often we confuse those two. Now look at your list. Look at that list in front of you. And there are some very big differences between infatuation and true love. Let's see what you come up with. Just what immediately kind of comes to your attention there? What are some of the differences? What jumps out at you? Yes. Go ahead. Yes. She said, I was trying not to make eye contact. Don't pick on me. Go ahead. What's your name?
I'm Katie.
Katie, this is for all of health classes for all of the next 20 years. You're now on this tape. Do you want to put your face in there so they can see you? Hi, I'm Katie. She's so embarrassed. For the camera, she's got like 9 shades of red. Perfect. There's Katie. Katie, ask your question. Or make your statement.
Well, like with romantic infatuation, it's more of like the nature of attraction. It's more about like the body instead. With real love, it's about like personality.
Perfect. All right, thank you. And our filmer is going to include all of you. So physical attraction versus total personality. You can find that on your sheet there. You can circle that, etc. All right? Let me give you another one. It moves fast versus taking time. If you've ever had a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you're in love, man, does it move fast. If you go, oh my goodness gracious, I can't take my eyes off of you. I can't seem to go to bed at night because I'm thinking about you. Now, that's a pretty romanticized view. I've been married 34 years, and I must say that I do love my wife more today than I did 34 years ago. When I first met her, I was just like, oh. You say, how did you meet? I'm glad you asked. You see, we met when she was 14, I was 16. She was a freshman in the youth group at the church I went to at the time. I don't know if you do this in your church youth groups, but every June they'd promote the freshmen up into the high school group. So I had been a sophomore, so now I'm a junior. And they would parade these freshmen, introduce them to the rest of the group. We had about 200 in our high school group. And so they'd march these freshmen across the stage and they introduced them. So you can imagine, guys, how embarrassing, and ladies, you can probably think about this would be horrible, if you had to be paraded up in front of 150 of your fellow students. So all the junior guys are going, yeah, baby, let's check out that incoming group of freshman girls. And because we're all a bunch of losers, and all the junior girls are like, yeah, whatever, I'm going out with college kids, right? And so I saw Cheryl as she walked across the stage, and I went, she is smoking hot. Now go back to that physical attraction versus total personality. I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. I just knew she was really cute, all right? And all I could think of is, I got to get her phone number. Now, the problem was a thing called the mom. Anytime you want to take out someone who's younger than you, you got to get past mom or dad. And in her case, her parents were divorced, so it was mom. So, I'll come back to that story. We'll tell you how the first date went in a little bit. So you have physical attraction versus total personality, moves fast versus takes time. Look on your sheet. Anything else that stands out? That seems to be different in between real love and infatuation? And I will call on you, so get ready to answer. What do you think? There's some real obvious ones. There are points for this, I think. We'll make them up today, in this class only. Yes? And you get extra points for filming and getting us on camera.
Yes. Okay.
All right?
It talks about how instead of you realizing that the person has faults, you fantasize about them, I guess. So they're perfect and they can't do anything wrong.
So there's a real idealized concept versus reality.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if our survey says that. Unbelievable. Wow. Idealistic versus realistic. So far, you guys are 3 for 3, and you're following my outline. This is unbelievable. Yeah, that's a very good observation. Something else. Anything else you see the difference between true love and infatuation? Anybody else? Yeah?
Selfish and unselfish.
Yeah. Infatuation tends to be very self-focused or self-centered. Let's see if our survey says that. Oh, well, we'll get to that. I'm sure it's on the list. Yeah, selfish versus unselfish. And then a lot of people will approve versus very few people will approve. Why is it that when you're totally head over heels over someone, do people kind of go, I'm not so sure about that person for you? Can you think about why sometimes there's a negative reaction when you're in a new relationship? And I realize if you've never been in a relationship, it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll be dealing with this sometime later. Why would people disapprove of it? Is there anything you're doing in that relationship that might cause them to be like, not so sure about that? I think it's because you get obsessed when you're in a new relationship. And so because you're so focused, they think that everything else is going to suffer. For instance, they see you fighting all the time. You say you really care for each other, but you're constantly nitpicking at each other, and they don't know how to resolve conflicts. I think they see that someone's doing all the taking, and someone else is doing all the giving. I think the other thing is one person seems to be more consuming, and the other seems to be more caring. Very rarely in an infatuation kind of relationship are the positive things happening. It seems like one or both of you are emphasizing the negative. Physical attraction, moving too fast, totally idealistic, hardly anybody approves, frequent fighting, taking, and consuming. And so, because of that, that leads us to think about, is this really true love? The second danger sign is conditional versus unconditional love. All right? Conditional versus unconditional love. And so, what happens is, when you say that you love someone, and by the way, we use the word love for everything, right? We use the word love for, I love my dog, I love Mexican food, I love when USC wins, I love when, right? And we use love in a very mixed bag approach. But I want to tell you, there are some love that is conditional versus unconditional. Now, I've given you three statements. I love you. The first one, tell me if it's conditional, in other words, there are strings attached, or it's unconditional, no strings attached. How about this one? I love you because. Is that unconditional or conditional? Conditional. I love you because. Let's fill in the blanks here. And for fun, Mr. Filmmaker, would you grab that and when they give you an answer, zoom in on their answer, all right? By the way, our filmmaker today is?
Ryan.
Ryan, on the camera, just focus on yourself just for a second. Hi, I'm filming. Say that.
Hi, I'm filming.
All right, so I love you because. All right, we got to go quick because we don't want to waste this. We want to spend editing. I love you because. Go for it.
What?
Why would someone say, I love you because, imagine you're in love, you'd say it because, why?
Because you're nice.
Because you're nice. All right, here's another one. I love you.
Because you have great hair.
Because you have great hair. We're going right here. Get ready, you're next. I love you because, why do you love her?
No.
I have no idea, all right? I love you because?
You're funny.
Because you're funny. No guy's given me the most honest answer yet. I love you because?
You're hot.
There we go. So, say it one more time for the camera.
You're hot.
Nice.
One more time.
You're hot.
Very good. Just think, sometime in health class in 2016, someone's going, who's that guy? He said it 3 times. And they'll put a little, and they'll put a little music behind it. We're good. All right. I love you because. I love you because. Now, here's another one. Is this conditional or unconditional? I love you if. I love you if. What do you think? Is that conditional or unconditional? Conditional again. I'll love you if what? Say it. I'll love you if. If you love me. I love you if. Back here. If you'll have sex with me. I'll love you if. And I won't think.
It's not me.
Yeah, they're just talking. Yeah, thank you. He's just clarifying. I'm just being clear. Thank you very much. Let's just say, who said that again? No, we won't do that. All right. I love you if or because. I love you if.
If you make me a sandwich.
If you make me a sandwich. I love you if you feed me. All right? Yes. By the way, my wife's a great cook. You know what's really embarrassing? My daughter's almost giving birth. Who's farther along in the pregnancy, her or me? Don't answer that. All right. I love you if you have sex with me, if you make sandwich for me. I'll love you if you'll spend time with me. I'll love you if you stay good looking and don't gain 50 pounds. Can you see all these things put conditions on your relationship? So a danger sign is if someone's involved with you only because or if. So what's this one? I love you in spite of. Conditional or unconditional? You think that's conditional?
Unconditional.
Unconditional. Very good. I'll love you no matter what. Now let me ask you, in your world, right now, as a sophomore, most of you, who is the only, there's only a handful of people that maybe can say that to you. Who is it?
Your family.
Your family. That's right. I'll love you in spite of. Now some of you are going, you don't know my family. That's a whole nother lecture on family relationships. But for most of you, you're going to learn unconditional love from one person in your life. Who is it? Your mother. Think about what your moms put up with you. First of all, they carry you for not 9 months. That's a misnomer. It's 40 weeks. It's 10 months. And they give birth to you, and it caused them an unbelievable amount of pain. Unless they took an epidural in the 7th month of pregnancy, and then they're just like, woohoo! Yeah, I haven't done drugs, but this is good. And so they give birth, you're then born, and here's what you do the first at least 3 months of your life. There are only 3 functions you have in life as a newborn. What is it?
Eat, sleep,
Eat, sleep, and what?
cry.
And one more bodily function.
Poop.
Thank you. Eat, sleep, cry, and poop. That's such a fulfilling lifestyle. No wonder women get postpartum depression. They love you unconditionally. Your dad does too, but typically in most families, mom's the one who shows it and dad's the one who says, hey, I told you I loved you. If I change my mind, I'll let you know. Right? And so, I love you in spite of is a big part of what unconditional love is. And that's one of those things you never talk about or think about as you get older. What happens if your spouse, you've been married 3 years, you're in your mid-20s, is in a car accident that renders them brain dead? That might tell you, how am I going to function the rest of my life? Am I going to care for you? I've been fortunate, we've been married 34 years. Nothing disastrous has ever happened to us in our relationship in that manner. But I think about that now as I look back at my parents. My dad had Alzheimer's the last 6 years of his life, and my mom cared for my dad. They had been married 50 years. In the last 6 of those 56 years that they were married, he was losing his mind, literally. That isn't, I love you because you're hot. That doesn't love you as long as you provide for me. That's, I love you no matter what. I love you in spite of. All right? Now, let's look at this. Danger sign number 3 is unhealthy dependence versus independence. Unhealthy dependence versus independence. And what we want to look at is what are the characteristics of an unhealthy dependent relationship. And then we'll look at some causes as to why people get into those kinds of unhealthy dependent relationships. Now we started the session today by asking how many of you want to be in an unhealthy dependent abusive relationship, and I had no takers. But I want to ask you today, as you look outside on your campus, do you see people who are totally whack jobs when it comes to their relationships? They are like, why do they stay together? Do you ever see that out there in the comments? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so we've all seen it, and you've got to ask yourself, put on the counseling hat, ask yourselves, what in the world, why would people stay in that relationship? We'll look at that when we get to causes, but let's just describe it for a little bit. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause the tape, and what we're going to do is I'm going to break up guys and girls. Girls, I'm going to join you because there's only 2 of you. And you're going to do this. I want you to list as many characteristics of an unhealthy dependent relationship, and then one of you girls are going to come up here and give your answers, and one of you guys are going to give your answers. You're going to have 4 minutes to do that. On your mark, get set, go.